Hello.
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 If you can hear me, this is Ran Xia.
This is Andrea. This is Ariella. This is
United States.
If you can hear me, hello.
I wonder where all the lost things go.
The bottom of the ocean.
Somewhere in deep space.
The center of an exploding dwarf star.
Maybe the elves took them.
Where the magpies took them.
East of the sun, west of the moon.
29th of February, when it's not leap year.
No idea.
Somewhere deep within
The
ourselves.
forest, the underworld.
Or maybe just the landfill.
I think all the lost things go to corners and under furniture, under beds, under shelves, tables, tucked away to be forgotten about and ultimately lost.
Secret department of lost and founds like Orvis's Library of Babel.
Or you can claim things like that solitary hearing's long-lost companion.
That hat you left on the train? Yeah, the one with fringes all frayed. You're not ready to part with it.
Phone numbers.
Love notes sealed but never
The
sent.
language of the thoughts.
Certain friendship.
Your childhood.
All the forgotten umbrellas.
Or maybe they've turned into something entirely different.
Echo. A repetition of sound.
Produced by the reflection of sound waves
From a wall.
Mountain.
or other obstructing surfaces. Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia.
A sympathetic or identical response.
As two sentiments expressed.
A lingering trace or effect.
Survival to me means perseverance
The strength to stay alive.
and doing it.
Means food, shelter, water,
Enough
the
money.
bare minimum.
Sustenance.
Getting by, doing what you have to do to remain alive.
Survival is what
Living, I suppose, for the sake
the
of
state that most people are in.
Every day in New York is fucking survival.
Immortal to me means
Never
Undying.
dying.
forever.
Remembered after you're gone.
And
leaving a trace of my existence.
infinity.
the feeling that you get
That's
sometimes.
not very positive for me. Immortal.
Which is probably an illusion.
If you have an immortality, then it keeps you from being in the world.
To me, echo means voice
Being reminded.
and response.
Echo, I only get the image of a cave, a very deep cave,
On a high mountain, and you shout out whatever you want.
and having your own voice thrown
The
back
sound
to you,
coming back to haunt
so
you.
you can hear yourself.
Repeating, and perhaps magnifying, but I'm not sure. Echo is a reverberation
Ripple effect
any
of
energy, not just sound.
the consequences of what I do.
Anything put out the world echoes.
Echo to me means loneliness and one-sidedness and not a lot of listening.
Missing to me means gone
A lack of something.
Something that's totally
No one's there.
and vanished.
Something far away.
I'm missing.
Am I missing from myself?
Searching, I want to find this person, and it's an emotion as well. I'm missing you.
Tell us about your last trip to a lost and found.
I had lost
lost something on the Metro North, and they have a little area in Grand Central where I guess lost things go, but it was really dirty and kind of smelly, wet, and I think I left a bracelet or something.
The last time I lost something, I didn't physically go to a lost and found, but I had a whole 3-month-long saga with trying to get it back. I left my iPad on the plane when I went to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Well, I called the taxi lost and found when I left my brown leather bag in the cab. They never found it.
I often look inside a lost and found at the Crunch gym. It seems to have never been touched. And I also think it's kind of interesting because wouldn't people be looking for these things? It's not like, you left it at a theater or a cab. You were at the gym, you know where your stuff is.
So on weekends I work at a theater, and we have a lost and found. And there's a lot of gloves, one glove, a hat, scarves, glasses. I feel like frequently myself and the rest of the staff kind of rifle through it to find prizes, for lack of a better term.
Well, the last time I was in a lost and found was in school. I was just looking for some gym pants, and I found them. I think that's pretty rare with lost and found.
Because very, very, very unoften people actually come back to retrieve their things. Most of the time it's just left there for forever. Why not give it a good home, I guess?
I don't think I've ever been to Lost and Found. I don't think I've lost anything in a public place that was worth being found.
I don't know if I've ever actually been to a lost and found, but my room back home is kind of like a lost and found. I have a whole bunch of boxes from when I used to go away every summer, like a plastic bag that held a prop in it, or a movie ticket. Those things kind of remind me of something that's lost and found because I don't think about those summers. So it kind of feels like something that's lost, and every time I go back there, I kind of find those summers again and find those little tokens. And it just really reminds me of all those summers that helped create who I am now.
Hey.
Hey.
Who are you? Where are we? Do you know? Do I know you?
I know you.
You do?
Do.
What are you looking for?
Have you lost something?
You've lost something. I've lost something.
I've lost
I've
something.
lost lots of things. Can you still hear them?
Time is an obstructing service.
So is misunderstanding, knowledge, changes in weather.
Natural disasters, secrets.
You still hear them though. The voices,
They linger. The voices of all.
The voices of all that's never really lost.
From Ovid's Metamorphosis, Book 3.
The story of Echo's unrequited love for Narcissus.
Narcissus was going about his own business, hunting, which was pretty much all he did those days, when Echo saw him, and the nymph thought, holy fuck, goddamn.
Wow, what a specimen.
She wasn't just a voice back then.
She still had her shining hair and all the curves in the right places.
Which she took a lot of pride in. Echo never learned to keep her mouth shut when someone else spoke, nor could she break the silence herself first.
All she ever managed to do was repeat the last few of someone else's words.
Someone else's words.
She wasn't always like that, though.
Juno had made her that way out of spite.
As a punishment.
Because the chatterbox had kept distracting her with annoying,
incessant small talks.
When Juno was on her very important missions of catching her husband, Jupiter, in the act of fornicating with a bunch of sluts.
mountain nymphs.
We should have known better.
So, when the goddess queen finally figured out what was going on,
She was like, that tricky tongue of yours.
How about a really mean curse?
Really mean
Your
curse.
friend totally deserved it.
Kinda totally.
And that was how Echo lost her abilities to have a legit conversation ever again.
Ever again.
now back to Narcissus, who was creeping behind Verity.
While Echo was creeping behind our gorgeous boy wonder.
Blessed her, then feeling all the feelings triggered by this thing called infatuation, like,
Was there smoke coming out of her ears? There better not be smoke coming out of her ears.
In her head, Echo was making a whopping list of pickup lines and
Pickup
list of
lines.
options.
She'd kill.
She longed to say even just one of those things to Narcissus.
But since her voice no longer belonged to her heart's desires,
Echo had to wait and wait
and wait.
And wait.
for a chance to speak her thoughts.
by repeating someone else's.
Now, Echo's romantic fantasy seemed
Not altogether impossible because Narcissus had been lost for a
I
while.
was starting to feel a little agitated or even a little scared.
A little
You
scared.
could use some companionship, especially when his so-called bros for life were nowhere to be seen.
So finally, in the most casual tone, Narcissus called out, "Is anybody here?"
Echo was ecstatic, obviously.
Here she answered in the same super cash tone.
Come over here!
Over here.
Narcissus was confused. Why wouldn't he be? Some strange fellow was answering to him, yet somehow refused to show their face.
So the voice sounded harmless.
Harmless.
So Narcissus called out
Come
again.
out so we can see each other.
That was music to her ears.
See each
Echo called
other.
out as she ran to him with open arms from behind a tree where she'd been hiding and shaking with excitement.
Needless to say, that was not what Narcissus had expected.
He startled away.
Stay away from me, you nympho. I will never let you touch me.
Touch me!
Her response was desperate.
But it made no difference to Narcissus.
He kept running until he was completely out of sight.
Echo was sad and ashamed.
She was still in love with him though, the idea of him.
Even after such a profound rejection,
She hid herself in the woods and dark caves until
Her
finally
body turned to dust and her bones to stones.
No one's seen her again since.
all that's left was her voice.
In the dawn,
In the woods and dark caves.
You've heard it.
You heard it.
You've heard it.
That was you?
That was you.
I didn't realize.
Didn't realize.
Do you still
Still.
love me?
Love me.
No.
No.
Tell us about someone you had wanted to be with but never were.
David Bowie.
Okay. There was this baseball player in my college that I was like ridiculously attracted to, and like, but I also used to date his friend, so it was never gonna happen.
The first one that I can think of is in kindergarten when I was living in New York, and he was this French exchange student, and I just thought he was like the coolest cat. I would purposely go out of my way to like swing on the swings next to him or have snack time at his table. It was kindergarten. Like, what was I thinking? But for some reason, it's very vivid in my memory.
Oh boy. There's a couple.
I had a crush on my sister's ex-boyfriend's little brother.
A friend in college. This boy that I met on my very first day of college. His name was Paul. Very much a Chris Pratt type. Now that Chris Pratt is a thing.
My dear friend Ira. I loved him in high school.
The person that I kind of want to be with now, I'm not with that person, obviously.
Well, he asked me to the fall ball in 9th grade, and I said yes. I was so excited. And then I asked him a couple days later if he wanted to go as more than just friends, and he kind of tiptoed around that. He's gay now.
There was this person who I was attracted to, but a new friend of mine was also attracted to him, and she and him ended up having sex. And it happened to be her very first time ever having sex. I was like, well, I'm certainly not going to pursue this person since this friend is into him so much. And then he openly protected her. It all sounds very overdramatic. I haven't seen either of them since this all went down, but I'm friends with them on Facebook. And so now I know that this human being is engaged. And it's just so weird because I don't know, there's like a teeny tiny little part of me that's like, oh, what if? But now I'm getting married, so there's no more what if.
This guy I met last year in Paris, he's an expat from America to Germany, and he lives in Germany now. He's got 2 good days together, he and I.
You're in Lopez. She's smart, funny, and intelligent. I was too far up my own convictions to appreciate the time I have with her.
Well, I'm on Twitter, and there's someone who I think is just the most beautiful, amazing poet and writer I've ever read. She just writes this amazing imagination, these amazing words, and we kind of develop feelings for each other just from reading each other's words and having very brief conversations.
Well, I had met this girl over the internet in England, and we talked for about 6 months, and then we finally met up for a date, and it was an amazing first date, unfortunately. And then she left for home, which was out in the Middle East, and we pretty much kept talking for about a year and a half until it became unbearable.
I never acted on it. That's sad, but sometimes I think about how that would have affected me because I never dated anyone in college. And if I had pursued this relationship, would it have led me to where I am now with my current partner, or would it have completely changed the course of my life? I can't even regret that I didn't pursue it, or he didn't pursue me.
It's such a weird feeling. And I was having a conversation with someone, it doesn't even matter if it's reciprocated love. I actually don't care about that because this is enough for me with this feeling.
It's very good.
It's very good.
Right. You can only repeat someone else's words.
Someone else's words.
Not exactly the kind of conversation I was hoping for, but you're very talented.
You're very talented.
You're a natural artist.
You're a natural artist.
I was wrong about you.
I was wrong about you.
You're obviously a very nice person.
You're obviously a very nice person.
You have so much warmth.
You have so much warmth.
You have beautiful eyes.
You have beautiful eyes.
You have a lovely smile.
You have a lovely smile.
You have a very strong jawline.
You have a very strong jawline.
You have very broad shoulders.
Broad shoulders.
Looks like you work out a lot.
Looks like you work out a lot.
Yeah. Wait!
Wait?
You don't wanna...
Don't wanna.
Right. Shouldn't have to do that.
Have to do that.
Okay? I'll be the one to repeat.
To repeat.
Yeah, we'll, try it.
It.
Is there something you've dreamed of doing for a long time?
Probably something to do with travel. I'd love to road trip America.
I've been dreaming of going to visit Machu Picchu because I just want to see it in person.
I dream of going to Tibet.
I've dreamed of packing one bag and traveling the world for months, or even years, and studying mental health recovery models in other countries.
Why haven't you done it?
Just haven't had the time.
Is there something you dreamed of doing for a long time?
I've dreamt of starting the piano again.
Well, I think skydiving.
I've always wanted to press music to vinyl, my own music.
I always dreamed of being a dancer.
Dancing. Just being a dancer and just owning it and being one with my body. I just think it would feel like flying.
Why haven't you done it?
Time and money.
I don't feel my music is good enough.
I feel it's too late to start.
I just like my age, and I feel like the way I was brought up or the school I go to, like all those things are just so many factors holding me down.
I mean, I kind of have done it. I have taken dance classes and I do dance, but I guess not at the level that I wish to be.
I wanted to learn how to ski or snowboard for a very long time, but I haven't done it because I'm quite sure that I would break my legs.
The obvious reason is that I talked myself out of it. I already live in a state of perpetual unsureness. This is a big gamble.
Yeah, I mean, something that I dreamt of doing for a long time, and I haven't done is have children. I haven't done it because I haven't found the father, really. There's so many things that I've dreamt of doing for a long time. If you were to draw a picture titled What I've Lost,
It would look like pages of a calendar flying away.
It would probably be a huge clock, maybe some kind of like warp in the middle where it like takes you to like the land of nothing, and maybe like a little me, and I'm like kind of relaxing, laid out, you know, like no care in the world, as like the hand of the clock just keeps going and going and going, something like that.
It would probably just be me as a kid because for whatever reason, I don't think it's trauma, but I have a really not great long-term memory or short-term memory. And it's really hard for me to remember very specific memories. It's just sort of a general blur. Everything in my life is sort of like that. And I guess I wish I remember specifics. I do remember being a teenager in high school and looking myself in the mirror and telling myself one day I'd be, 25 and far away.
I would draw a picture of a playground because I haven't gone to one in a long time. Play with other kids. I'm just too old to do that.
I remember when I was in grad school and we were lucky enough to have Ellen Burstyn come, and so what she said to me was, you have this light that shines out of you. I think if I drew a picture of what I've lost, it would be this beautiful sun that has rays coming out everywhere, and then on the inside, a little heart. And I think that I used to have this light that absolutely loved the light of all those things around, but I don't think I quite see it like that anymore.
I would fill a page with geometric lines, circles, and mathematical shapes, only using a thin black pen. I've lost a lot of my imagination, but not my creativity.
I guess what I've lost is a sense of confidence in who I am. It would be an abstract picture, and it would be very explosive and unapologetic. There would be a lot of colors, and it would probably move outside of the page, but the whole would be harmonious, if not conventional.
I think it would be a black or gray safe with an impossible number combination, because I have this strange duality of knowing that I have lost so much, but also never being able to quite put parameters on it. So in my head, I know I am carrying around this loss and I can't get at it.
This past year in particular, there was a lot of purging in my life. My parents moved and
you were to draw a picture titled What I've Lost, what would it look like? Please describe your picture. Wow, innocence comes to mind.
I've seen so many writers talk about this, artists as well, and kind of how when you're younger there's this kind of thin plastic layer or like a sheer kind of veil around you, kind of surrounding you, and I'm still fairly young. I'm 15, so I feel like that veil, I know what it looks like so clearly. I can picture it, and I know exactly what it feels like and what it does, and everything that it does for me and what it used to do for me. That it kind of shields you from the reality of the world, or the reality of your feelings even. So in that picture, what I've lost, I think that veil would kind of be gone. There would be a before picture where I'm kind of surrounded by this cloud or this sheer sort of thin line around me, but now that would be gone. In the after picture, I would just be a girl without anything around her, and I think I've kind of lost that filter to the world.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
What is something you're most afraid to lose at this moment? Memory.
My sense of adventure.
My hope.
And courage.
Time. Sometimes I'm overwhelmed by how few hours there are in a day, days in a year, etc. And I get scared of waking up old.
At this moment, I'm most afraid to lose my passion for my work.
I think I would be most afraid to lose my job. I've been there for about 8 months now, and I would say the first 6 months, for some reason, I was just like really terrified that I was going to be fired.
I think I'm in a really good place in terms of a really strong conviction that I'm doing something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, and I believe in the right things. I don't want to lose those values, and I don't want to lose my friends, and I don't want to lose the happiness that I've kind of spent a long time to build.
What is something you're most afraid to lose at this moment?
People.
My parents.
Well, I spent 10 days back home for Christmas, which is the longest I've spent at home in years. And yeah, my dad is 75, and my mom is getting close to 70, and he's getting very old, and it's the thought of him passing and losing him that would really suck. He wasn't the warmest guy with us as kids, but he's so tender and sweet with these grandchildren, so it's amazing to see.
My family. I'm always afraid to lose my camera.
My partner.
Who's the most important person to me?
Friends. Sometimes I let my mouth run off, especially when I'm passionate about something, and I don't realize how that could affect someone in a negative way.
What is something you're most afraid to lose at this moment?
Fear.
us about someone you used to be close to but no longer are.
Her name was Lainey. So much of like those really, really young years just revolves around playing with this person and spending time with her and developing my imagination with her and going to dance class with her. Yeah.
We were friends in middle school. His name was Aaron. He was incredibly funny, and he had zero ego. He was only human. We played handball every break, and his mom would take us to the best dim sum on Sundays. And whenever I went over to his house, it was immaculately clean, and there were always snacks. And he had a GameCube too, which was a major plus. I never beat him once in Super Smash Bros. I got destroyed every single time. We're talking embarrassed.
It's weird to like have so many formative memories with someone and then it's just life.
Best friend, childhood friend, one day he decided to just stop talking to me. He would interrupt my own conversations with other people and hijack the conversation and then pretend that I'm not there, which is fucking rude. So yeah, not close to that person anymore.
It hurts. It really hurts to grow apart from friends because I feel like friendships are supposed to be forever, and
friendship breakups are the worst, in my opinion.
I had a very, very good friend, I think 6th grade through 9th grade. She was my best friend and I was very exclusive. And then she started going out with a guy and I kind of went into the background. I spoke to her again a few years ago and she said that I had given her an ultimatum of choosing between me and him. I don't remember that at all. She may be right. That would explain why we stopped being friends almost overnight.
My friend Ashley, she and I were coworkers, and we decided to stop talking. She has so many issues, and I couldn't take them anymore. Our relationship was so intense. It was natural, and sometimes I missed her, but it was okay.
Sometimes people have their place in your life, and then they don't. And you recognize when that is.
Hey!
Hey.
You came back.
Came back.
Why are you here?
Why are you here?
Why would you do something like that?
Why would you do something like that?
Sorry.
Sorry.
Ouch.
Ouch.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Jerk.
Jerk.
Ass.
Ass.
Stop being a bitch.
Bitch!
You stink.
You stink.
You have a stupid face.
You have a stupid face.
You have crooked teeth.
You have crooked teeth.
You have ugly eyes.
You have ugly eyes.
I hate you.
I hate you.
You're the worst.
You're the worst.
I wish I never met
I
you.
wish I never met you.
My favorite term of endearment is
darling.
Pumpkin. Bacha. It means like child in Hindi.
You know, my grandfather, my father's mother, called his wife Bunny, and I always thought that was kind of sweet.
I call everyone dear.
I really don't like baby or babe.
My favorite term of endearment is sweetheart.
I don't have a name. Call me by my name.
Echo.
Echo.
I thought you left.
You left.
I'm sorry. I
Thought.
thought I needed you.
I thought I needed you.
I thought
I thought.
Is there a quality or belief you had as a child, but not anymore? I used to think girls were gross.
I used to think everyone was a good person deep down. I had more hope as a child.
The belief that there would always be someone to take care of me.
My imagination wasn't the same as it used to be.
I thought there were people, I thought vampires and witches and things were all real, and mermaids, and they were all hiding from us.
I think when I was a kid, I really believed that anything was possible, especially to the point of thinking I had magic powers. And I could spend a good 3 hours staring at a pencil, positive that I could move the pencil.
Is there a quality or belief you had as a child, but not anymore?
Yes, that adults will fix everything.
The belief that adults are always right?
Infallibility of parents or adults.
I feel like a lot of people feel this way when you're young. You think that your parents are invincible and they are like more than human.
You know, always perfect, that they can do no wrong.
I kind of idealized my parents and viewed them as these kind of problemless ethically and physically and everything. I wanted to be exactly like them,
and as you grow up, you learn that they're much more down to earth and more human, and they've had all of these experiences and they're not perfect.
That veil has been drawn. I've seen the man behind the curtain.
But that's what makes it even better when you start to become friends with your parents.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of comfort thinking that your parents knew it all.
yeah, I held that really strongly when I was little, and now I feel like that's kind of diminished.
When you realize they really know very little.
Realizing that your parents are human.
I love that I know that my parents are not perfect.
Just like you.
What is this?
This.
You made this?
Made this.
How do you make something like this?
Like this.
How to stop time. Turn off the clock.
Just don't think about it.
Put yourself in mortal danger.
I think whenever I'm with, like, a lot of my friends and we're doing something kind of reckless or just, like, so, like, fun and, like, young, I'm not gonna say what, because I think that's, it's implied. I think that's kind of when time stands still. I feel like my youth is always going to be there. I feel like I'm going to be a teenager forever, and that kind of feels scary, but also so exciting because there's no limits, you know. And I think it's like such a bad thing, but also a really interesting thing to write about and to think about. And I don't even know. I think it's just very interesting.
How to travel in time.
Move the clock forward.
Read a book.
Watch a movie.
Listen to music.
Read or journal entries, pictures, photographs.
Memory.
We travel in time all the time, every time we think about past or future.
How to slow time down.
I don't know, break the clock.
Take the train.
Think about the present moment.
Taste the air.
Smoke pot.
Do something really, really, really embarrassing.
Have to speed time up.
Walk faster.
Run a race. Drink alcohol. Have arbitrary deadlines imposed by others.
Have fun.
Give in to the joy.
Fall in love.
How to escape time.
You don't.
There's another piece.
There's another piece!
There's something missing.
There's something missing.
My first word is a baby.
Oh, I have no idea.
Can't even guess. Maybe it was mom or mama.
Mama.
Mom. Or so I was told.
I would guess mom, mommy, mama would be
Dad, I think, to my mother's chagrin.
My first word as a baby was juice.
My first word as a baby was down.
My first word as a baby was yellow. My mom would always dress me in a yellow dress, and so she would always say, "You're wearing yellow, yellow," and then I would repeat, "Yayo, yayo."
My first word as a baby was a sentence because I didn't start using words. I learned to speak methodically, and my first sentence as a baby was "Maman a oublié pain," which means Mom has forgotten to buy bread. And it had to do with food, obviously.
My first word as a baby was...
I don't know.
I wish I remembered.
I don't know if I've ever asked the question.
My parents never told me. What is your most treasured memory?
This is actually pretty easy. I was really young. I was in Ethiopia, that's where I was living at that time, and I fell asleep at my grandmother's house, and I remember I was laying on the bed, and when I woke up, it was my little cousin, who was probably maybe 3 at the time. He was just like shaking me, waking me up, like, Nina, wake up, Nina, wake up.
I think it was probably about the time when my little sister came home from the hospital. I can still remember very faintly, as if it were a dream, like pointing at her face and being like, "That's a baby!" I must have been like 3 years old.
I am fondly remembering being in New York in September, working on a play with friends.
When I finish my university,
Playing make-believe with my father, jumping up and down on the couch, pretending it was a pirate ship.
I've often thought of this one when I would stay with my grandparents when I was a kid, and I watched this movie Condor Man. He had these giant wings, and my grandmother and my grandfather built me wings out of a cardboard box that they taped to my arms. And I spent the afternoon jumping off their back deck onto this hill. And I remember the feeling of like just looking at the rooftops and really convincing myself that I could actually fly if I just really believed in it.
I think the one that stands out to me most is a dream I had actually, and I remember it because it was so epic and so good. So this one involved me sailing through Amazon under all these floating ziggurats that eventually started crumbling. And I was being attacked by snake people. And a giant octopus monster saved me, and I just thought it was fantastic. What's your most treasured memory?
My mom's hands.
Hey.
Hey,
Maybe this isn't it.
this isn't it.
We'll find it. You and me.
You and me.
You and me.
You and me.
What is your most terrible memory?
The day I found out that my mom passed away.
When my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Waking up after being in a coma.
Probably a certain fight I got into with my mother when I was a teenager.
I had this really terrible argument with my dad one night, and I was somehow into the corner of my closet and I sat in the wall.
Probably the day that I came home from school and saw my mom in the room going over pictures of what we later found out was my father and her husband's mistress.
Just before I went off to college, my mom and I were in the car together, and she said, "Hey, I'm to talk." And she said, I said, now that you're going off to college, I need to know that your grandfather is an alcoholic. And she was telling me to say, like, this is part of your DNA, this is part of who you are, you're going off to college, you could potentially drink, like, you should know this about yourself and your family. But I remember just, like, the image of my grandfather kind of shattered for me. And it was also funny because all the pieces kind of fit together because for my entire life, I was going to meetings on Mondays, and I never really knew what the meetings were. Now I do.
I think that would be my first day of 7th grade when I had switched schools from the United Nations International School to a almost entirely white school in Brooklyn. And it was incredibly lame, and I hated it. Everyone there dressed the same, thought the same. It was awful.
When I was at a pre-college program, a bunch of us were grouping on and playing chicken, and I accidentally dropped a girl on her head. Really banged her up, and I still have nightmares about it.
I said something once to my sister when I was a kid that really hurt her, and I really regret it.
The most disturbing, I guess, was when I was abused by a friend of my father's when I was about 16. And it wasn't overtly violent, but it's still disturbing.
What's your most terrible memory?
It's definitely with my grandmother again, and she was always like this spunky, powerful, like full of shit, sarcastic, hilarious lady. I was trying to go visit her when she was sick, and when I went to go see her, she was laying on a cot, and she didn't know who I was. And this was really my first big loss of someone who meant that much to me. So the fact that she didn't know who I was really upsetting. And she had already decided the music that should be playing at her funeral before she passed, even though it was unexpected, because that music was part of her life. And she chose the most beautiful music to be playing at her funeral. It was perfect.
Well, about 5 years ago, I was in a very bad mental state and ended up at a party where I blacked out, and not a good situation. But it changed my life forever in ways that were very difficult at the time, and a lesson that was very hard to learn, but I'm so much a better person for it now.
These are some of my favorite sounds.
My dog's yawn.
My dog's snoring.
Cat purring.
I'm allergic to cats, but I think it's a very pleasant sound, and it's a nice, calm way to express happiness.
It's also really, really guttural.
I think that's chill.
Rain.
You don't have to go outside.
Rain
You're inside. Sound
Stepping on the fresh
crackling fire.
Sizzle you get when you inhale on
The
cigarette.
crackling sound ice makes when you pour liquid over it.
Foghorns. The old kind. The deep ones, not the newer ones that are a little more shrill. Sound travels better, but
softly.
The ocean?
Definitely the ocean. Waves
Sounds
around.
plain water.
Splash in the water. I jump in, or someone else jumps in.
The sound of
Wind.
through grass.
I don't know if it has a particular sound. I know there's like
I love that sound.
there's kind of something in it that I can't quite explain, but it's always very comforting to me.
Sometimes I imagine that sound when I'm laying in bed, my pancakes.
Because of like some calling especially in the mind. Joey's keys typing on my computer, rattling as he comes up the stairs.
When you come home to a puppy or a dog, and you hear their little paws running to come see you.
The PlayStation startup
My
sound.
dad playing video games.
My
My mother's laugh.
My daughter's voice.
My mom ranting
My
on
grandmother singing. She used to be an opera singer and gave up opera to take care of my mom and her two brothers. I suppose laughter. It's cliche, but it's true.
My nephew, when he has a little giggle, and he's 4 months old, so his giggle kind of sounds like a sound that he's trying to have escape from him, but he doesn't really understand what it is. The sound of silence.
The absence of sound.
When you're in the middle of a forest.
When the noise calms down.
And you can hear almost nothing.
Inwardly. There's always a silence.
But you hear the trees kind of talking to each other.
Very profound silence that can fill your ears, and it's all encompassing, as present as a sound.
You keep it. I don't need it anymore.
I don't need it anymore.
Anything else you want to get rid of? Get rid of.
What is something you're happy to lose? Weight?
Baby fat.
Definitely.
My virginity. But that was lost a couple years ago, so I'm happy to have lost it.
My hair. When I was 21 or 22, I cut it off into a pixie, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I felt like I couldn't really remember myself looking any other way. I don't know. I just felt like I was what I was supposed to look like.
Well, I haven't drank anything, alcohol, since New Year's, and it feels great, and I love it.
I'd be happy to lose a lot of excess stuff.
I think I would be happy to lose my doubts.
I'm happy to lose their people, making me feel bad about myself.
Happy to lose worries. I'm happy to lose fears.
Happy to lose inhibitions.
I also wouldn't mind losing some of the chatter in my mind, a lot of anxiety.
My social anxieties and fear, they're not big, but man, do they kick in sometimes.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Listen. There's so many things I want to say. So many things I want to say to you. But there are no words. There are no need for words anymore. Because you listened when I had no words. And I think we hurt each other. Really hurt each other. So now that I can say anything, anything at all. I guess the difference is when I was just an echo, if I want to say something, I have to listen to what somebody else says first. And then I can say something, even if I don't mean it. Most of the time I wasn't really even listening to what they were saying, I just wanted to say something. But now, I listen to myself first. I get to choose my words. I listen to what I have to say. And then maybe I choose to say nothing else. Can we do that for a little while? Let's not talk just for a little while, knowing that we're free. We're both free. Thank you.
Thank you. So what do we do now?
I don't know. Anything we want.
Do you want to keep looking for a way out?
Not yet.
How do you know you've gotten over someone? When I go a day without thinking of them, without knowing it.
When you make breakfast for yourself.
When you stop crying in the grocery aisle because you're only buying food for one.
When thinking about them doesn't suck as much.
Instead, it brings you peace to know that life goes on for you and for them.
For me, I don't think I get over people.
I think about someone I had feelings for in high school. So that was 10 years ago.
You never get over someone. You just put them aside for a longer period of time.
It's not a final said and done thing. It's always going to be there. The love is always going to be there. The time we spent together is always going to be there.
But how do you know you've gotten over someone is you see them and you see them as a person and not this ideal.
It's just being ready to try again, I suppose.
See you soon.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Later. See ya.
Well, future step into my field.